It's unacceptable that Americans pay vastly more than people in other countries for the exact same drugs, often made in the exact same place. This is wrong, this is unfair, and together we will stop it.
President Trump talked about the high cost of prescription drugs in his State of the Union address last night. So we're talking about it tonight, focusing on insulin, which of course keeps diabetics alive. A drug pricing researcher crunched numbers for us. In March of 2004, a vial of insulin ran about $56. By 2009, the price had climbed to about $86 a vial. If you go to goodrx.com today, you'll see a 10 milliliter vial can run anywhere from $177 to more than $300. That's a jump of anywhere from 106% to more than 230% just in the last 10 years. It raises the question, if you don't have insurance, how can you afford to treat your illness? One family I met said it's tough even with insurance. We caught up with 7.5-year-old Sammy Kemphues at the end of a day that included school and sports, some Lego time, and checking his blood sugar. 2 years ago, Sammy and his parents learned
I have type 1 diabetes.
And what does that mean?
It means that my pancreas stopped working.
It means that we make sure that his health comes first over any type of luxury. We eat at home a lot more, and we make sure that his medications are what comes first.
Meaning his insulin and what it takes to administer it. Aaron Kemphues says the drug, along with a continuous glucose monitor, an insulin pump, and a few other essentials, runs about $500 out of pocket every month.
It makes no sense.
It clearly makes you upset.
As the mother of someone who needs the meds, she's focusing on that, wanting to know why the cost of insulin has gone up significantly over the years. A graphic from the American Diabetes Association tries to explain the system that's resulted in current pricing. It's tough to understand, but Aaron is clear.
It's not optional. It's necessary. There's no cure. So we have to get the prices of insulin to come back down. They're out of control, and it's not okay.
That complex graphic you saw suggests PBMs, the pharmaceutical middlemen, are demanding rebates from manufacturers who compete for PBM distribution. So to cover the cost of the rebates, manufacturers are hiking prices on the product. That's the most basic explanation that we can give you on that one. Joining me now is Melissa Newman, the Executive Director of the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, or JDRF. Want to thank you for being here. Have to ask you, how many families in this tri-state region depend on insulin in your estimation?
We estimate we have about 30,000 people in our area that have type 1 diabetes. And if you have type 1 diabetes, insulin is life support. So 100% of those people rely on insulin every day just to stay alive.
Okay, so that gives us perspective for the number of people who this would hit, and by extension, you know somebody probably who's affected by this. It's serious. There have been reports of rationing insulin, and it's why we're going to show you Megan Carter's picture now. What is her story?
According to a recent Yale study, 1 in 4 people with type 1 diabetes are put in a situation where they have to ration insulin. Megan, unfortunately, is one of them. Megan is a local woman who, unfortunately, was in between jobs, temporarily uninsured, had a good job as a nurse, so she made too much money to qualify for any kind of assistance, really. And on Christmas Day, unfortunately, passed away because she was rationing her insulin. Her roommate found her the next day, and it's a tragic case that absolutely could have been prevented.
So we have established why we have to look at this problem. The question now is, what is the fix?
It's going to take advocacy. We saw something similar happen with the EpiPen a few years ago, and media partnered with the industry. People spoke out. We need the same thing in the diabetes community. So thank you for sharing this important story. We need every person who's impacted by type 1 diabetes to pick up the phone, to call their legislators, to demand transparency into insulin pricing, to call the insurers, to demand that they address the rebate system and deal with these middlemen that are involved between the consumers and the insulin manufacturers.
To take the ball from the State of the Union address and run with it. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
And we will be following this story to see exactly where it goes.